was saying earlier, as a cordon bleu chef, I mean, this is much quite special to me. and he says that unless you have the basics right, you can't quite cook, right? Whatever you're going to cook, you must know your basics. So the problem with our debate, particularly the Sri Lankan Tamil conflict, whatever way you want to interpret it, is people have got the facts wrong, don't know the truth, don't know really the background, why things happen. For example, a lot of my Tamil friends say, Mashang, you buggers discriminated us, we were more studious than you guys, and because we were going to university in lot more numbers than the Sinhalese, you buggers brought in a rule and kept us out of university. Now, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, simply because there was more schools. Jesuit priests and the Brits opened in Jaffna during the colonial period. Consequently, there were more English well-equipped schools in Jaffna City and Colombo and bit in Kandy, and everywhere else was neglected of education facilities, and unless you became a Christian, you couldn't quite get education either. So people who had these Christian missionary schools naturally studied, and their generations all had educated parents. Consequently, most of them went to university. Of course, the greater preponderance of them were Jaffna Tamils, simply because they applied themselves a little bit more harder, because that was their ticket out of there. Now, by 1970, the Muslim population, both the Malays and the Moors, were the most marginalized group in the education sector, simply because they were more traders and business oriented. Consequently, they didn't care about education. They didn't have the same sort of ethos like a Tamil family. So the percentage of Muslim doctors, engineers and professionals was substantially lower. So Dr. Badruddin Mohammed was appointed by Mrs. Bandaranaike as the Minister of Education, because he impressed on her during the election campaign, Madam, I have a vision for education. My people, and what he meant was the Muslim people, are the least educated in the country percentage-wise, and I want to do something about it, and I would prefer to be given the education portfolio.
Dude, they're shutting down the lights.
And so they gave him the education ministry, and he introduced the preferential quota system to enable more marginalized Muslim students from Beruala, Akurana, all these places where entry marks are lower. So it was actually
had that after a while.
Yeah, but the thing is, they brought it to actually empower a marginalized another minority. But it was interpreted as if it was being done to penalize and discriminate Tamil, which is completely wrong.
But Tamil people got it much more better. Actually.
Absolutely.
They got it better because if you're entering medical college from Jaffna,
their teachers were the ones who marked the
their teachers would be their examiners and mark their papers. And the people who they were with. So basically what happened there, nobody knows what happened there.
No, there was a fair bit of partiality in the market, where you up the average up.
The average up.
But
right?
let's leave that out, but that's an allegation.
It's not a big deal.
Right? But the fact is, the law of having a two-tiered entrance, the handicap system was brought to help the Muslim students and the rural students in particular, who didn't have science facilities, didn't have libraries, didn't have teachers. They actually were handicapped when they came to sit for an exam, whereas the urban city school kids had it all. Right? So you're trying to level the playing field in the imbalance, and by doing something which is affirmative action, you're then accused as you're discriminating the Tamil, which is completely wrong.
It's wrong.
So the thing is, but these buggers they are living with that.
They're living
so they're angry with us for something that we didn't
do.
Yes.
Right. But I mean, if you look at myself, like for example, like when Mali and them were in med school, in Colombo faculty, right? Mali came from Goa, passing his exams in Richmond College.
Oh, brilliant. So
Goa,
he shoe into the university.
Right. University, batch third passed out, right? First ever gold medal for pediatrics in 25 years.
Superb.
Right?
A gene pool leke.
And no favors from dad, who's a doctor.
Yes.
Right? Whatever I did. You know what he did from the first year onwards? He got a Mahapola scholarship because his marks are so good. From God.
Fabulous.
Right? He shared his Mahapola with 3 students. Right? Who came from rural areas so that they can buy their food themselves. Right? He didn't have money because my father never gave him money. Because my father doesn't believe in giving kids money. Right? On top of that, he would have afternoon classes on English and terminology for students who didn't understand it. Even now, my son, until his final exam, so that's like 5 years,
Right.
he did that for all the kids, right? And he got together all these buggers, one from Anand, one from Visakha, batch island first from, this bunch of friends, they sat there and they would teach